Hey, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Cami. Boy, do I have a lot of pictures to fit on a double page layout today. My nephew had his first birthday. I actually got this idea from Janice, who created a collage and then printed it on large paper. So I created this collage using Canva, and I put the pictures on it, and then I printed it through my big printer at the 8.5 by 11, and I did trim it down just slightly. I left a white border around it. You can see there is still a white border. So I printed this one huge, 8.5 by 11, but I fit a ton of pictures on it. How cool would this be for like a travel if you did a landscape and maybe even had it go across both pages? I want to use this way more. Large pictures. So this was 8.5 by 11, and then all of my pictures are different sizes. I can't tell you exactly how big all of them are without going through and measuring. And then I created a 5 by 7 as well. So what I'm thinking is having this one over here, and then maybe having his invite here, because that says the who, what, where, when, why. And then I don't need a whole lot of journaling. I will still journal about the day and just my family, and they live out of town from me, so then we make it a big weekend and we do more things than just his party. So this was also his party, so I'm thinking of that one going over here, or maybe I'll switch these so that I have more room for the invite. I wanted to bring in this wave paper, and this is part of the Lake Life collection. Look at how perfectly it matches the balloons and his little bib and just the decorations, the tablecloths. It is perfect. And his party was at the pool. So it was actually at the YMCA. So they have the pool back here, and you can kind of see that. So what I'm thinking is having the water down at the bottom, and I don't want this to be so squared. So I'm thinking of tearing this and then having some of this glacier peeking out behind it. And then I'll tear that as well. Over here, you won't see as much. You'll see the waves here and then a little bit down at the bottom. Which way do I want this to go? I almost think the waves go this way. That's the way I have this one. All right, you can tell better by the back. So if I have all the paddles going the same way, then these ones are going the same way. All right, so I'm thinking of tearing those. And then I wanted to bring in some of the stickers from the Lake Life. So I have the Splash Family Fun, and then this was the same color. So I want to bring in some of that paprika. So I cut this frame here and I gutted it out so I wasn't wasting all of that. And I actually used that then to create a frame for this one, or a photo mat. Okay, so go like that. And now I'm really kicking myself for not buying the watermelon die cut, Stampin' Die Cut from Close to My Heart, because he had watermelon and cupcakes. And then there's also a cupcake stamp set available through Stampin' Up right now, so I might need to get that, or maybe I can find something on my Cricut as well. But it'd be awesome to do some cupcake embellishments, since that was his smash cake, was a cupcake. Okay, here is the invite. Let me just grab a sticky note here. Okay, so I just blocked off the when and where here, and I'm thinking of having that, maybe I could do something like that and then have an embellishment cluster up here and maybe down here, maybe even over here. So what color do I want to mat this on? I thought of bringing in more paprika or maybe more glacier. I'm gonna have quite a bit of glacier though with the water, probably my title, if I do another title. This says, you know, Declan's turning 1. really sure what I want to do. I could have that all the way to the edge there, and then have that kind of... Let me see what a double mat would look like. That's kind of fun. Maybe I'll double mat this one. So I'm going to glue it down to the glacier first and just do a super thin mat. Sometimes by knowing what embellishments you want to use, that helps you pick out your papers as well. So I wasn't sure, you know, what papers I wanted or anything like that. But I knew I wanted to bring in like the splash. His invite actually says, you're invited to join us on his big day with a big splash. So that works perfect. And then I do have some more pictures. Yes, even more pictures of him splashing in the water. He loves to swim. He's only one, but he does love to swim. So that's pretty cool. My sister and I were both on the swim team growing up. So it's kind of cool that he is into swim. Maybe he'll attempt to swim across the lake too, like I used to. Okay, so let's tear these. I'm going to tear it towards myself so that it reveals that white core. Okay, so let's move these out of the way. So that'll go like that. And then the same over on this side. I just adhered this frame down. And how cool would that be in a smaller size, but do your journaling? Like at a bold frame like that, do your journaling and have it look like waves coming across. That's cool. I'm just going to use my Barely Art Glue here. I have plenty of room for my tape runner, but then I can kind of slide this into place. I could have also just added glue to the back of this probably, and that would have worked fine as well, but there we go. It's done, dude. His little face, he did not like everybody staring at him. Get the camera out of my face, not in the mood. Okay, this one I am gluing down. I think I'm gonna go all the way to the edge. Maybe up a little bit more. And I'm not gonna glue this one down yet because I'm going to create my own flip flap. And I don't have a 5x7 flip flap, so stay tuned for how I'm going to do that. But my other picture, it's not 5x7. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to need to do like some journaling back there and piece it together. But it has a QR code and it has some other kids swimming and stuff, so just kind of want to keep that more private. So then I'm thinking that one could go there. I could do maybe another title down here, or I can start adding my embellishments. So I think I like that there. And since that's going to be in the flip flap, it'll kind of cover that corner, which is fine. So I'm just going to set that aside. Could even slide this kind of under these waves. That's fun. There we go. There we go. I played with my embellishments off camera. A lot of these came from the workshop kit. I used my pine ink and foam dauber to go around a lot of these embellishments. And then on his little tray there, they have these triangle banners. So I grabbed these from the workshop kit. These are from Project 1. And I thought I could kind of make my own little banner hanging around down off of this photo cluster. So kind of tie in the banner that's in the photos. So all three of these are from that workshop kit. And then I pulled the hearts off the sticker sheet as well. So that might be what I used to hold those banners together. Here's that splash and another little heart. I did remove the adhesive from the sticker so I could play around with that. And I'm just adding some of my Bearly art glue to this splash sticker. I know I wanted to use the splash because that white sheet that you see next to my glue there, those are more pictures. That's another collage of him actually swimming in the pool and splashing around. And I have some QR codes of just family time. So adding that heart up to this cluster. And I want to add some of those colors to each cluster. So I have that paprika, the pine, I have some glacier up there. So I'll want to add that to my other clusters as well. I get asked about my QR codes a lot, and I do have a video planned to walk through that in a little more detail. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. My QR codes are videos that I've taken of an event or at an event, and then I turn them into a QR so that they can be scanned. I don't want to share those publicly because if I showed you the picture of the QR code, you could easily scan that and see my family videos, which isn't all bad, but some things can be kept personal. So I like to make them into QR codes so that in the future when I'm flipping through my scrapbook, I can stop, scan that QR code, and watch a family video. You know, we used to have them on. Yes, I'm old enough to remember VHS tapes and the recorders. So definitely similar to that, but you can see the pictures that go along with that video. Here I'm testing out these big hearts, but they're almost too big for that banner. So I'm bringing in those small ones. I just threw it across my page with the little circle around them. And I think that's a better size to hold these banners together. And I think I'm going to switch those around because this one's a little more green. So let's put the green over by the blue and then the blue in between the two greener banners. I think that'll look better. There we go. Kind of rolled up on me a little bit when I peeled it back up. And there we go. We can find a different spot for those bigger hearts. I want another cluster up in this corner, but this almost looks too small. So let's come up with something a little more substantial. I have this tag that is also from the project workshop, and I could bring that up, but that's almost too wide, I think, and it makes that half circle look even smaller. Let's just think on that for a little bit. So I'm going to ink around this Family Fun tag. It was actually a sticker that I had removed the adhesive off of. And then I like that over in this empty spot on that paprika paper, it'll be under my flip flap. So I'm just adding some Bearly art glue and we're going to tack that down right here. And it just says Family Fun, which is definitely what this weekend was all about. I cut another banner out of this pattern paper. This was exclusive pattern paper along with the workshop. I'm inking it in my pine ink, and let's try moving that up to this cluster. It's a little bit smaller than that tag, and I think that's a little more balanced. I'm grabbing some more of that pattern paper, and let's try cutting another banner. Let's try to add a little bit more to that cluster and make it a little more substantial. So I just cut off that little piece that I had cut a tag out of for a different project. I'm just cutting a rectangle here. And then let's see if I can grab it. We'll cut a little banner. So I like to cut up from the center and then in from each corner, going up to the top of that cut. And there we go. We'll need to ink around this as well with my pine ink. Since I've inked around everything else, I can't leave this one uninked. I like what that added to that cluster. I'm adding another little heart under this flip flap here next to the Family Fun. I'm adding the rest of those heart stickers around, and I'm just playing around with which color I want by which cluster. And then I'm also going to be adding some enamel dots and hearts to these clusters. So I'm going pretty light on the embellishments. I'm not going too crazy with the cupcakes and the pool theme, and just kind of using what's in this kit. I have a lot of photos and I don't want to take away from those and make this feel even more clustered with so many photos and so many embellishments. I could add some splatters around my clusters to kind of make it more pool themed. I could also add some pool embellishments, but I'm kind of liking how simple it is because I have so many photos and it's just kind of overwhelming. So I think keeping the embellishment simple and having that pop of orange is nice. I don't think it needs a whole lot more. If you wanted to do some journaling or subtitles or anything like that around, that there's plenty of room. But like I said, I'm going to do a flip flap here. So my journaling will go on the back of this. So I have another photo that'll take up this much space, and then I have some journaling, and then here I have my pool pictures and my QR code. So this is, you know, more pictures. There, I just flipped it over for privacy. So let's go ahead and create that flip flap that I said. I don't have a flip flap this size, but we're gonna make one work. These are 6x12 flip flaps from Close to My Heart. Now, Stampin' Up! Has started carrying some flip flaps, so they have 8x12 flip flaps that'll work great as well. I was hoping this would fit this direction, but it's a ½ inch too big. So I'm gonna have to go this route, which is fine. And then I'm going to cut. So this goes up further. So I'm going to cut it this direction first. I know it's scary to cut flip flaps. And then I'm going to cut across the bottom too. So let me show you how I'm going to measure, because we're gonna make sure that's completely tight against that side. And then I need a little bit of room on this side to reseal it, okay? So I'm going to leave about that much space. Look at that, I have another flip flap. So I just need to seal this side, and there's another flip flap for the future. And this happens to be 4.5 by 6 1/4. So I bet I could trim this down to a 4x6 and use this as a 4x6 flip flap later. Okay. I think I'm gonna run this through first and seal this side before I cut across this side. So you guys, there's a tool out there, a heating tool that actually does this, and it makes it look identical to how they have it sealed. I don't have that tool, but what I do have is a preserving machine, a sealer. So it works. I've done it before and I'm gonna do it again. You do have to leave enough of a space for it to seal, but I find that it works good. It doesn't look identical to this, but that doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, buy that tool to make it look like that. Here we are. I got it sealed. So as you can see, it doesn't have that same dashing as this one does, but it is sealed. And I do see that it's a little off, so I can just trim that with my scissors and it'll be good. Okay, so let's make sure our picture still fits. Look at that. It's perfect. Okay, so now I need to trim the bottom. So this one, you want to leave enough space for this to go over. So we can trim this about here. I want to give myself enough room again to seal that. I'd rather trim some after sealing it than waste this entire page. So to cut that straighter, I'm going to use this and just line up where my slit was there. Okay, now I saved everything. I'm saving this because on a future layout, I could put this I could adhere it to the back here, and it's open. I could adhere that there, and then I could have some hidden journaling. See what I'm saying? See? And it stops it. So I'm not going to get rid of this. I know it's not quite tall enough, but what if I just wanted a little bit of journaling to peek through? I could have that right here. I could have just a small little tag peeking out. And then you would know to pull that. So, saving that. And I got that other side adhered or sealed. Look at that. I love multi-purpose tools. I can preserve my food and make flip-flaps with it. Okay, I know this fit before, so why are we struggling here? Oh. There we go. And then that flips over. We made our own flip-flap, you guys. I'm even going to trim a little bit more off of this side, closer to the seal. Okay. Isn't that fun? And once it's like down like this, do you even notice that it's not... doesn't have that texture? I think having the white with the pops of the orange really help my pictures to not be so overwhelming. I know there's a ton, but wanted to document the stories and document his first birthday and first grandchild. Maybe after the next one it won't be so crazy, but he's the first baby, first great-grandchild. Here's his grandma and his great-grandma. I'll finish my journaling on that back of the flip-flap, and then I'll just adhere that onto my page protector. So this layout is pretty well finished. But look at how many pictures. I haven't even counted, you guys. You count for me. But look at how many pictures I have put on a double page layout. I don't need to have any memory protectors. I don't need to go on to a third, a fourth. I wish I knew this long ago when I did like wedding layouts, when I went on to a third and a fourth and thought I had to document all the pictures. I wish I had this technique. So thank you, Janice, for that trick. I'm going to be using the collages so much more because you guys know I print way too many pictures. So I'm definitely going to be adding that to my future projects as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. I hope it brought you some inspiration. I know there's a lot of other apps out there. I used Canva. I can't remember what Janice said she used. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel if you're not already. If the video inspired you, please give it a big thumbs up. And until next time, live a life worth scrapping.